Okay, I think we're good to get started here. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining another RIT weekly webinar. This is, I think, must be our 12th or 13th webinar we've done. And so we're delighted to have Visit Scotland back on. So hello to Laura and Keith. Thank you very much for joining us this evening from Scotland. So I'll just give a quick overview and then pass over to Orla. She'll tell us her favorite place in Scotland, and then we'll pass over to the experts, Keith and Laura. We will be doing some trivia at the end via Kahoot, like we did the last time. So people on the Zoom call will be able to follow that along. People on Facebook, I know it's a minute or two behind, so you can answer the questions in the Facebook chat, or if you would like to join the Zoom webinar in order to do the live trivia, that's a possibility as well. But we will be picking winners from both Facebook and via Zoom as well. So a bottle of scotch for the winner from Zoom, and there'll be a few other Scottish goodies for winners on Facebook too. So I'll just give a quick overview. So just an update on Scotland and the season. Many of you may have seen Air Transat's announcement that they're bringing quite a lot of their European routes back, including Glasgow, which is great. I believe it's July 23rd, is that correct, Keith? Is that the first flight, or it's around that time?
I think the first flight from Toronto is the 25th.
25th. My apologies. I know Air Transat are beginning back the 23rd, a lot of the routes. The 25th to Scotland. So that's great that that service will be back on. So as of now, all our FIT stuff is still running for September, October. We're not recommending travel before September. And with our coach tours, we're going to make a decision very soon on that, on whether to run our September, October tours. And there is a mandatory 2-week quarantine still in place for the UK. So I don't think anyone will be traveling until that's lifted, but there hasn't been an announcement on that. So we're just monitoring the situation. And 2021, we're really hoping for a great year next year. So 2021 is on sale. You will get this year's rates if you book any of our coach tours for 2021 before the end of July, and we will start promoting 2021 properly next month. So similar to Ireland, we pretty much do everything we do in Ireland, in Scotland. So escorted coach tours, the sightseeing tours. We work with Rabbies, who are fantastic, the smaller sightseeing tours, maximum 16 guests. We do the luxury rail journeys with Belmond, and we're also adding the other rail journeys where you use the local Scottish rail service. And lots of people like to do the steam train, which is included on some of our tours as well. It's a great way to travel. The driving holidays, I always say, is the best way to get around Scotland. You can really get off the beaten track, see lots of wonderful destinations as you go. So a week or 10 days, you can really see quite a lot of the country. If you really want to go explore some of the islands, I'd recommend at least 10 days just to make the most of your experience, chatting with locals, staying in a mix of bed and breakfast and hotels. It really is a beautiful destination to visit. Chauffeur drive, of course, a great option. If you're not comfortable driving on the left, the roads do get a little smaller the further north you go. But of course, you get less people up there as well, so they're not too hard to drive on. We do great city stays as well in the major cities. So Edinburgh and Glasgow, you can do some lovely city stay packages. So lots of people will do that before perhaps starting a coach tour or doing a further vacation somewhere else in Europe. They might do a 3 or 4 day stopover in Glasgow, do our Glasgow Delight or something, and it's only 45 minutes from Edinburgh, so you can do a city stay in either city, and it's easy to get in and out of both airports, so that's a great option as well. And Edinburgh, one of my favorite places in Ireland and the UK, lovely place to go year round, so great around Christmas as well as, of course, during the summer, during Tattoo, and it really is a fantastic destination all year round. So we are going to add more family travel and custom groups next year, so stay tuned for that. But our regular coach tours and driving holidays will continue as always for next year as well. So just some of the reasons of why Scotland. Well, I would say, why not Scotland? It's absolutely amazing. Obviously great access from Canada, lots of ancestral links, and I think Laura and Keith will talk a bit about the ancestral piece shortly, but it really is an amazing destination. You get a lot of the history and heritage in Glasgow and Edinburgh, and as you go further north to the Highlands, you get some breathtaking landscapes, friendly locals, lots of great quaint little villages and pubs. My must-see, I always say, is Edinburgh. It was brilliant. I was there last year, and I was doing the hop-on, hop-off tour, and we were in the new town, and then I found out the new town started being built in 1867. So the new town of Edinburgh is older than most towns and cities in Canada, which is amazing. And the old town, is incredible as well. So lots of wonderful things to do. Of course, Edinburgh Castle, generally the highlight seen there in the picture. And so this is always included on our coach tours. We do a pre-opening tour of Edinburgh Castle, which is really fantastic to explore. And it's right in the heart of the city, so walking distance to lots of the main shops and restaurants and bars. The Royal Mile is an amazing place to go as well. So if you have some free time, I'd spend, an hour or two wandering along there. Lots of really nice bars. What bar did we stop in, Keith, for a pint that time? It was just off the Royal Mile. Nice little pub.
Yeah, it was Maggie Dixon's in the Grassmarket.
Yeah, that was nice. So Maggie Dixon's, there was a bit of live music there, and there was live music in a few of the bars around there. So it really is a great city to visit. I was there in August, so it was very busy with the tattoo. So lots of tourists in town and a great ambience in the city. And of course, on our coach tours, we always like to include Scottish entertainment evenings, similar to the ones we do in Ireland. It's a great way to kind of finish off the final night. So a bit of Scottish dancing, a bit of singing. Keith can tell us all about Highland dancing there. I think he's an expert. But a great way to finish off the tour. And even if you're doing an FIT trip, you can add on one of these experiences. But there's lots of great bars that do them in Edinburgh in particular, but also in Glasgow and other cities as well. So I'll pass you over to Orla and tell you a bit about why she loves lovely Scotland, and then we'll pass over to the expert.
Thank you. Do you want to do your poll question while I get my PowerPoint ready?
Oh, thanks very much.
No problem.
For reminding me. So I'm just going to launch a poll. Those on Facebook probably can't see it, but just going to ask, have you been to Scotland before? Always good for information to have. So of course, being one answer, or not yet. So it's looking like more than 50% have not been yet. We're at 66% not yet, and 34% of course. So we'll have to get many of you on a FAM, hopefully next year. I have one other question I'll just share. Stop sharing results. Future travel, just interested to hear when your clients would be interested in visiting Scotland again. So 2020, the first half of 2021, second half of 2021, or 2022 and later. So I see the majority are saying after June next year, and I think that's kind of the sentiment we've been getting as well. So about 80% of you are saying June to December next year is when people would consider visiting Scotland again, which is very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Yeah, so we've kind of had the same sentiment. We think 2020, not too many people, there's just a lot of unknowns about 2020. First half of 2021, our season generally begins in April, but yeah, we're thinking after June next year is when a lot of people will want to go. I'll pass you over to Orla now to tell us her top spots. Thanks, Orla.
Lovely. Thank you, Jonathan, and thank you everybody again, as Jonathan said, for joining in with us every week. I look forward to it as well, learning a lot of new things and also reminiscing about where I've been and where I do want to go. So my first time in Scotland was last October on our own Scottish Royal. And I think the one place that stuck out to me was the Isle of Skye. So this is just a little map showing you where it's located, if anybody doesn't know. So it's the northwest of Scotland. And it is the largest of the Inner Hebrides as well. So where we went to was Portree. So you can see it there on the map. The Isle of Skye itself, the population is just over 10,000 and it's 80 kilometers long. So it's a very, very small island with absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous scenery. So it's about a 3-hour drive from Inverness because, as Jonathan mentioned, the roads are narrow and it's quite difficult for a bus to navigate there. So the easiest way to get there, we took the Skye Bridge, but there is 3 ferries as well that you can take. So there's a couple of different ways to get there. So that bridge then just connects the mainland to Skye itself. So we took a day trip from Inverness. The first picture here on the left, and it's also my background, is the square in Portree. So that would be the kind of the main town on the Isle of Skye. So you can see these brightly coloured houses as well, which is very similar to parts of Halifax and Newfoundland. But it's a gorgeous little place, very walkable. The best fish and chips in Scotland, so I've been told. On that little square then as well, there was a little, well, there was a boy who was probably maybe 15 or 16 playing the bagpipes. So it really set the scene for us, sitting down in October with the sun shining, taking all in the culture of Scotland, and especially on the Isle of Skye. So it's a great place for shopping and lots of restaurants as well. So this is then some of the fantastic scenery that we saw. One of our stops along the way, we had about, I think it was about 2.5 hours in Portree. And then because we were only on a day tour, we had to leave. But this is just some of the scenery, quite like parts of the Isle of Skye, or the Highlands as well. So we did stop at Illindoone Castle as well. So this is about 2 hours from Inverness and about an hour then to Portree from here. So it's a 13th century castle, and they say it's the most beautiful, and I would believe it. Like, this picture was just taken on my phone. It was absolutely stunning. You got a lovely tour then of the inside, but you had plenty of time to explore the grounds and go for a little walk down past the information centre as well. So really, really gorgeous place. Again, there was a piper and it really just set the scene. But if people are looking to stay longer, as Jonathan mentioned, we do use Rabbies quite a bit. So they offer a 3-day tour from Edinburgh and from Glasgow. The one from Edinburgh goes year round. And there's a couple of different spots that you can see. So there's a couple here that are on my list. The Old Man of Storr, so that's the one on the left there. It's about a 15-minute drive from Portree and a 4-kilometre walk to the top and back down. So I think if you're a hiker or people who like outdoor activities, the Isle of Skye is definitely a spot for you. I definitely hiked to the top to get that picture anyway. It just looks amazing. And then on the right, you've got the Skye Museum of Island Life. So it's got all of the history. It was a preserved little town that preserved kind of how the Isle of Skye and the people lived back at the end of the 18th century. So that's another gorgeous place to stop off with the thatched roofs. Really, really nice. And that's located in Kilmuir, if I pronounce it right. And then Schligacon Old Bridge, I just think the views are spectacular. To go and get some images like that and just be out in the countryside is definitely a must see. And then as well, there's a couple of different castles, but Armadale Castle. So off with the thatched roof. Oh, I hear myself in the background, sorry. Yes. Armadale Castle. It's got the Museum of all the Isles and also the home of the Clan MacDonald. So this is a great spot to stop off as well. It has been restored, so it's now back to its former glory. And it's on, I believe, a 20,000 acre estate too. So it's only a 15-minute drive to the closest kind of property that we would have used. If you're familiar with it, it's the Dewsdale House Hotel. So we would use this on a lot of, say, chauffeur drives or luxury FIT. So this is a gorgeous little 4-star boutique hotel that a lot of people would stay at. So Portree being kind of more north, and then this property is right down the south. So if people were looking to go on a driving holiday, because that would be the best way to get around the Isle of Skye especially, then this is a lovely property as well that I should highly recommend that you stay at. So that's all from me, some of my highlights from Scotland. So I'm going to pass it over to Laura and Keith now to tell us everything on Scotland right now.
Okie dokie, I shall just get my slides ready.
Stop my share there.
Thanks Orla. Keith, maybe you can answer while Laura is doing it. I see Maureen just typed in, is there a rainy season in Scotland? It doesn't ever rain in Scotland though, does it? Well, you're on silent. You're on mute, Keith.
Yeah, as you can see with my background, it never rains in Scotland. It's always sunny, blue skies. There's a saying here that there's no such thing as bad weather in Scotland, just not the right clothes. So yeah, I think it's a rainy season. Not really. I think you just need to look at the different season, the different seasons in terms of that we can get all weathers in the one day, but and just come prepared with layers. And I think that's the best way to do it. As long as you've got layers, then I think you'll be able to enjoy.
Absolutely. It can get a bit cold now in the winter, of course. Not as cold as Canada, but if you're further north in Scotland, it can be a wee bit chilly come November or February. Yeah,
it can be, but I've been to Skye, like Orla, and I've been to Skye in February, where it has been really, the weather has been cold, but had blue skies like that's behind me in my picture there, crisp, clear days. I had stayed in a hotel just in the centre of Skye that overlooked the harbour, and the mornings were glorious sunshine. So you never know what you can get in Scotland, but be prepared for some fantastic clear sunny days, whether it's winter or summer.
Absolutely. I see Barbara just says same as Newfoundland. They sometimes get snow. They sometimes get snow in July and stuff. So, not quite as wild as Newfoundland. The people are just as crazy though.
We have a good time.
Right. I won't be able to see myself, I don't think, once I start presenting. Is that right?
You should be in the top corner, I think.
Oh.
Once you share your screen, icons will show on the side. Just click the green share at the bottom. If there's any other questions as we go, feel free to type them in, and Orla, Keith, and I will respond to them by message or answer at the end as well.
I think that should be me. Can we see the opening slide there?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Okay, so I'll just get cracking. Working with a different keyboard this time, so apologies if I have to jump back and forth. It's just to keep you all on your toes. All right, so hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for the warm introduction. My name is obviously Laura, and Keith and I are here today to use this opportunity to give you an update on all things Scotland and highlight some of the fantastic work that's been done right across the country to help navigate these challenging times. If you've got any questions, as they've mentioned before, if you just pop them in the box. Today, you're lucky enough to be hearing mostly my voice, and Keith will be in the background typing away, answering what he can. And if we can't get to any of your questions, we can hopefully answer them at the end. Okay. So when it's safe to travel again, why think about travelling to Scotland? Certainly the stunning scenery is one. The wild and majestic mountains of the Highlands. The rolling countryside of the Lowlands. The pristine clear waters and white sandy beaches of the Western Isles. Then there's Scotland's unique history and culture. Our legends and magical myths. Our stunning castles and stately homes. And misty magical lochs. Not forgetting our friendly locals. And our wonderful, friendly locals, food and drink, including, of course, the Water of Life whiskey. We've got some incredible cities too, from our colourful capital, Edinburgh, to our UNESCO City of Design, Dundee. Moreover, though, Scotland is a place to connect to the outdoors, to explore off the beaten path, to truly take your time and enjoy the wide open spaces. For those of you who love Scotland as much as we do, we hope that these images fuel your continued passion for our wee corner of the world. And note that all these images and thousands more are available to download from our digital media library, which is highlighted just on screen. So today's webinar, before we continue, I'll just run through what we're hoping to cover off today. We'll begin with some introductions to Keith and I. We'll take you through some fun Scotland facts before providing you with a Visit Scotland and Scotland update. We'll then highlight some of the fantastic content pieces to experience Scotland virtually and give a brief overview of ancestry and ancestry tracing before taking you through the travel trade assets that we have and finishing off, as Jonathan mentioned, with one of our quirky quizzes. When we get to the quiz, I will have instructions on the screen to show you how to join, but to prepare if you can have a mobile phone or cell phone handy, and if you can have a tab open on the device you're using and follow the link that's shown, the kahoot.it, you'll need that to enter. Later on, I'll provide a game pin that you'll be asked for, and that will be how you enter the quiz. So I'll just briefly hand over to Keith, who's going to do a little intro for himself.
Thanks, Laura. Hi, everybody. My name's Keith Campbell. For those of you I'm yet to meet, I live in the beautiful Scottish Borders in South Scotland, which is roughly about 40 kilometres from south of Edinburgh. I work in our local office in Selkirk and also Edinburgh. I'm originally from the Highlands, so I've moved to the opposite ends of the country, pretty much. I'm originally from a town called Wick, which is in the far north, but I've been in Galashiels for the last 15 years. I've worked for Visit Scotland for 9 years. Actually, this month is my anniversary. And I suppose my favourite place in Scotland is Loch Lomond, which is just about 20 minutes just outside of north of Glasgow. It's a stunning area with beautiful mountainous scenery, and the first time I visited as a youngster, I completely fell in love with it. And a staple in every Scots diet, my favourite Scottish food is porridge, and Laura can vouch for that because every morning we have a team meeting and I'm still eating my porridge first thing when we come on that call. So that's me.
Brilliant, thanks very much, Keith. And for those of you who haven't met myself yet, I am the Market Executive for North America at Visit Scotland, and I also help manage the Canadian travel trade relationships along with Keith. I am originally from Dumfries in the southwest of Scotland and now live in the centre of Edinburgh, which I absolutely love. I began working for Visit Scotland in 2016 on what I would call the front line in our Dumfries Eye Centre before making my way up to the head office in Edinburgh. I joined the Expo team there for 2 years. I was also fortunate enough to have a stint as a coup visor. That was where I was tasked with providing mobile information delivery to visitors and locals around Scotland in our Highland coup styled big Mercedes vans. So that was pretty fun. My favourite place in Scotland is a place called Kipford, a small village on the Solway coast where my parents now live. And my favourite Scottish food has to be the potato scone. I actually had some of that at the weekend. Best served in a bread roll with lashings of tomato sauce, and very helpful if you've had a few drams the night before. So on to some Scotland fun facts. For anyone who's attended one of our webinars before, you know we'll always like to begin with some Scotland fun facts, and obviously this is no exception. We may be a small nation, but we certainly know how to pack a punch as a visitor destination. Scotland's history dates back many thousands of years and is as fascinating as it is complex. Scotland, or Alba in Gaelic, is a relatively small country, closest in size to, I forget which state it is now? Alberta, Keith?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Closest in size to, we'll say Alberta. With a population of just over 5.5 million and 3 official languages, English of course, but also Scots and Gaelic. A lot of people believe in Scotland's national flower to be the prickly thistle, but that's actually our national emblem. Our national flower is the Scottish bluebell, which grows in abundance in our forests and woodlands across the country. Scotland boasts over 31,000 lakes, or as we call them, lochs. And without a doubt, Scotland's most famous body of water is the magical and mysterious Loch Ness. It wins the award for the largest loch by volume, containing more water than all the English and Welsh lakes put together. Our largest loch by area, however, goes to the bonny banks of Loch Lomond. Scotland is home to a whopping 3,000 castles and stately homes, 790 islands, of which only 94 are permanently inhabited. And there's a famous Scottish proverb that we like to use: today's rain makes tomorrow's whisky, which I guess is why we have 120 active whisky distilleries across 5 unique regions. For more Scotland fun facts, you can see the link just at the bottom of the slide there. And now on to our Scotland update. The coronavirus pandemic has been a challenging time for us all, and we want to thank you, our partners, for all the support you have shown over the last few months. As Scottish tourism businesses begin to plan to reopen as part of phase 2 and 3 of the route back to recovery, we're working with the Scottish Government and industry sector groups to highlight the key requirements that need to be undertaken to get tourism ready for restart. We know that the majority of tourism businesses can now plan for the 15th of July to resume operations, depending on the science. Visit Scotland are continuing to monitor the situation as it develops. In terms of our recovery and reopening timeline, we may not be able to answer all your questions right now. What we can tell you is that we will be guided by the Scottish Government and will likely be a gradual process over the coming weeks and months. But the best way for us to help you answer these questions right now is to provide you with the following links to our corporate pages, which are regularly updated with our latest information and advice as the situation develops. Visit Scotland's Chief Executive Malcolm has written his thoughts on Scotland's route to recovery. And we've also included links to our guidance and advice pages on our Respond, Reset, Restart and Recover action plan. It's a nice tongue twister for you. Of course, as soon as we know more, we will look to communicate with you as soon as we can. And in the meantime, we hope your clients will continue to enjoy all that Scotland has to offer from the comfort of your own home. And I'll go on to tell you how you can do so. So we have lots of creative ideas to bring Scotland to you and your audiences during this time. Why not experience Scottish culture at home, take time to learn a new Scottish language, virtually explore Scotland's top attractions or listen to some traditional Scottish melodies. You can also sit back, grab yourself a wee dram and discover some Scotland's finest on-screen moments. And if you fancy taking a little time out of your usual daily routine, why not explore Scotland virtually? We have a wide range of immersive content available, such as Scotland 360, video playlists, or, excuse me, Sounds of Scotland playlists. You can also have a listen to our brand new 100,000 Welcomes podcast. There's plenty more ideas that we think you'll love over on the blog, which is highlighted below, and all the ones mentioned are linked in the screen. If after all that you're still looking for other ideas to enjoy Scotland from home, why not take a look at our quirky brand new Guide to Scots Language. Scots is a language with a huge number of local varieties, each with its own distinctive character. And part of the experience of travelling around Scotland is hearing it straight from the mouths of locals and possibly asking what it means. Shown on screen, you'll see the words Oxter, which means armpit, and Bahookie, which means backside or your bum. Now, cheeky. These and 16 other examples can be found with handy sound clips too, so you can practice your pronunciation. And if you're looking for more ideas to keep you, your friends or family entertained, why not have a go at some Scottish origami, relax with a spot of reading of a Scottish-inspired books, Download one of our Scottish themed colouring sheets, keep the kids entertained or learn about Scottish characters and icons. You could attempt to finesse your cooking skills and try some traditional Scottish recipes. All these ideas can help to keep you busy and entertained until you can get back to Scotland again. Next, on to #AWindowOnScotland. This was a new social media campaign asking people across the country to open a window on Scotland and spread the love of their towns, villages and cities. As people across the country have been staying at home, #AWindowOnScotland is urging residents to share online the sights they can see from their properties, creating a virtual vision of Scotland's towns, villages and cities, reminding everyone of what is waiting across Scotland when travel restrictions are lifted. And lastly, launched this month is Sketching Scotland, available on the Visit Scotland YouTube channel with new videos added every week. The series contains 20 tutorials of varying difficulty, covering locations and landmarks in every region, complete with voiceover to give advice and tips, as well as facts on each attraction. It's enough to keep you busy for weeks and weeks. Okay, on to some ancestry. So did you know a study for Visit Scotland found that there are nearly 5 million people in Canada who claim Scottish ancestry. That's almost 14% of Canada's population and almost equivalent to the entire population of Scotland. Scottish is the third most common ethnicity stated by respondents to the last Canadian census. So with so many Canadians claiming Scottish ancestry, it's easy to see why ancestral travel is one of the top reasons for visiting Scotland. And in fact, over a third, 34%, of Canadian visitors to Scotland cite their Scottish ancestry as the main motivation for their visit. Our visitor survey also found that visitors from Canada report the highest ancestral links compared to other long-haul markets, such as the US, Australia, and Europe. Canadian visitors are also more likely to have family and friends in Scotland than their counterparts in the USA. Providing a strong motivator to travel to Scotland with the opportunity to experience Scotland like their ancestors, connect with fellow Scots at different events, or trace back their roots by searching their family tree. So what makes an ancestral trip to Scotland so different and so special compared to anywhere else? Well, it's mainly that here in Scotland, it's easy to walk in your ancestors' footsteps since the past is so easily accessible. Firstly, thanks to the Scottish clan system, which began around the year 1100, most regions of Scotland continue to be associated with particular Scottish clans or family names right up to the present day. This offers you a really easy way to personalise the itinerary of any client who knows they have Scottish names in the family. You can pinpoint the regions of Scotland that are most relevant to those names, and when your client visits them, they will quite literally be walking in the footsteps of their ancestors, stretching back hundreds of years. If you go to the ancestry section of our website, visitscotland.com/ancestry, and click on the clans section, you'll see ready-made itineraries for over 20 of the most famous Scottish surnames. Scotland is justifiably famous for its hundreds of castles, but an added bonus for ancestral visitors is that some clan and family names have multiple castles and other historical sites associated with them. In some cases, the clan chief still lives there this day. You can literally touch the history of your family surnames. Very cool. One of the biggest drivers behind ancestral tourism in the last few years has been the hit TV series Outlander, based on the books by Diana Gabaldon. The show has prompted fans in their thousands to explore Scottish family connections, which they might not have given much thought to before. And there's yet more history in the story, because if any of your clients have connection with clans from the Scottish Highlands, there's a good chance their ancestors may have fought in the Battle of Culloden, the real-life conflict at the heart of the Outlander story. And for younger visitors, there's DNA tourism. Blurring the lines between science and travel has given rise to a new phenomenon, get the words out, DNA tourism, which has been tipped by travel experts as one of the most significant trends to affect the industry in coming years. People are taking DNA tests through companies such as Ancestry.com and 23andMe and making travel plans based around what the results reveal about their ancestral roots. Significantly, it is reported that this trend is most prevalent among young travellers who might not be interested in undertaking genealogy, but are wholeheartedly embracing DNA tourism. Again, if you visit our Ancestry homepage, you'll see an excellent video featuring 30-something influencer Wade Holland, who experienced whisky tasting, wakeboarding, land yachting, and visiting some of our finest museums and castles, all while walking in the footsteps of his Scottish great-great-great-grandfather. To find out more from your home, you can use the handy ebook shown below on this slide, which is a step-by-step guide to discovering your Scottish ancestry. And finally, some visitors who wish to actually undertake ancestral research. Scotland is acknowledged to have some of the finest historical records in the world, including records of births, deaths, and marriages, as well as extensive records available online. There are organisations who can help direct any of your clients that wish to go down this route when they're actually in Scotland. You can find those with specific knowledge on Ancestry by following the link shown to our supplier section of the Travel Trade website, and that's also shown on screen. Now on to our industry webinars. The Visit Scotland Travel Trade team has set up a Scottish supplier digital channel which allow businesses looking towards recovery to engage with international travel for 2021. So if you're looking for the latest product updates from Scotland, who are trade ready and wanting to connect with you to help you with new product development planning, you can follow the link on the bottom of this slide and watch any of the recorded webinars there. Some examples are shown on screen: the National Trust for Scotland, Scotch Whisky Experience, Johnny Walker Experience, Eat Walk Edinburgh, Mary's Meanders, and Braemar Castle. Before we finish up with the quiz, I wanted to highlight to you the vast array of assets and information sources available to you to use, to read and watch, available on our dedicated Visit Scotland Travel Trade website, see here. There are some fantastic new resources available too, including our product planning ebooks and example itineraries. So whether you're in a fact-finding mission mode, looking for some itinerary or product ideas, or simply some travel inspiration, there's plenty of online resources available to you, so feel free to check out the links below, or myself or Keith if you have any questions. If you're new to Scotland or don't already follow us, please take the time to check out our social channels across Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Our team shares some incredibly inspirational content, so check them out and make sure you follow, like, and share. I'll send over a PDF copy of these slides to all those who have attended via Jonathan or Orla today. And okay, now moving on to the Kahoot quiz. For technical issues.
That's great, Laura, thanks. I'd say we just give it a minute and leave this on the screen. So I know Facebook is delayed by a minute or two. So if anyone on Facebook then wants to log in, so maybe we'll just leave this on screen for a minute and answer a couple of questions that have come in right now. So any big questions come in, Orla?
We've gotten one from Deborah. She's just asking, are there protocols out yet for major attractions for health and safety, or is this still a work in progress?
There are some.
You answer that one, Keith? Laura.
Laura.
I was going to say there are some guidance on the what's called the Good to Go scheme that will be coming out soon, and you'll be able to find out more on the links that were provided on the slides with all the requirements that the businesses should have and should be meeting before they think about reopening. So there's some advice on there, but we can certainly forward and highlight any specific links to answer the questions as well after we send the slides.
Yeah, and I know it's the same for Ireland. Like Jonathan, I'm sure you've seen lots of things too, just ones in our own kind of areas where they have similar what's in the stores over here, trying to keep the numbers down and keep the flow of people going. But as Laura said, there's lots of information individually. And Lynette is just asking to go back to the portion of the webinar where the websites are, but we will be sending everything on to you probably tomorrow if you want to wait until then, Lynette, if that's okay.
Yeah, we'll share all the links that have been shared in this webinar. There are lots of great resources on the Visit Scotland website, and we'll share all the links in the follow-up email. So that's great. A lot of people are asking about the pin. We're going to share the pin shortly. I just left this on because I know people on Facebook might want to play and sign into the Zoom link, but I'd say we're good to go ahead, Laura. So for those on Facebook,
sorry, Jonathan, before we move on, can I just pick up a golf question? Because I know that we've not got golf covered. Yeah. We've not got golf covered in the presentation. Diane had asked a question about golf, and I've provided a link to some good content that we have on visitscotland.com on the consumer site. So Diane, there's lots of resources there about golfing in Scotland, from the top courses that you can play on, the championship courses such as St Andrews, Carnoustie, Gleneagles, but there's so many more hidden gems throughout the country. We've got 550 golf courses in Scotland, right the length and breadth of the country, and including the islands as well. So some fantastic golf courses that we have. So if there's any specific questions, just please reach out to us. But as I say, I've got a link that I've sent you back there to look at. But golfing in Scotland, it's not just the top tier courses that we have. We've got lots of other 9-hole courses, and we've got some beautiful scenic courses as well that can be enjoyed throughout the country.
Super, Keith. Thanks for that. Yeah, so we're about to share the link to Kahoot. So again, those on Facebook, I know you're a minute or two behind, so it doesn't make sense for you to go on Kahoot because the questions won't line up with what's on your screen. So just answer in the Facebook chat once you hear the question, and we'll pick a couple of winners from Facebook and a couple of winners at the end from Zoom as well. So take it away, Laura.
Okay, I'm going to try and do this as swiftly as possible, so if everyone could avert their eyes in case there's any giveaways.
I'm going to play as well. Hopefully I win. Are you going to play, Orla?
Yep. I am.
Bear with us, everybody. We'll have it up here in a sec. So when you go to just the share screen, Laura, you just have to switch the tab to the other tab, I think.
Oh, I see.
So we're still seeing your PowerPoint tab.
Oh, yes, sorry. Are we?
All good though. There you go. So the pin is 385882. And don't put in any rude usernames because they won't let you enter. Oh, lots of players. That's good.
Okay.
So we have 50 people signed up on Zoom. So I'd say when we get to about 30 or so, good. And there is going to be some great prizes as well. So we recommend everyone plays. If I win, I'm going to give myself a bottle of scotch.
You're not allowed. You're not allowed. Jonathan, can I just do a shout out to Jane Carlton? Jane was supposed to be in Scotland today, which is on a RIT trip. She was her husband was booked to play golf at St Andrews on the 26th. So Jane, just a shout out to you. We feel your pain. But we hope that you can get to Scotland really soon. Hope you get rebooked or are rebooked to come. So shout out to Jane.
Absolutely. We hope to get everyone there next year.
Yeah. Good.
I'd say you're good to go, Laura, now.
Okay, I'm just going to try and
Orla, I'm expecting a top 3 finish from you. I'll be disappointed if you don't.
Okay, I'm not sharing the Scottish if I win.
Okay, I'm
What's
going to
your username?
You just have to wait and see. I'll be the one on the podium.
Oh, I'm not sure if the music will stay or go, but we'll enjoy it when it's on. Okay,
Okay.
let's start. Are we all ready?
Absolutely.
Let me know if you can see. So question 1, Scotland has 790 islands, but how many of those are inhabited?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Last few seconds. Get your answers in. Oh.
Well, test 2 was listening as well, because a lot of these questions, the answers were given already by Laura in her presentation.
That's right, to see if you were listening to my dulcet tones. Okay, so 12 of you got it right. It was indeed 94. And it should show us who's at the top. Quarren Queen.
That's me.
Doug. And Brandy and Tara are neck and neck there for 3rd place. All right, question number 2. Let's see if we can pop the music. At approximately what time is the longest day of the year did the sun set in Shetland? And I believe that was yesterday.
Yeah, it was. June 21st. Hopefully I redeem myself this time.
Oh yeah, almost all getting it right, but if you're thinking it was a little bit later, it would still be light at 11, but the sun actually officially sets at 10:30. Okay, drum roll. Oh, Tara, well done. Quarren Queen, you've got some competition. All right, question 3. So I've given a bit longer to answer this one. Clan mottos Ni Obliviate Saris and Reverso are the mottos from myself and Keith's family names, but what do they mean? Forget not and I will grow strong again. I have freckles and I have red hair. Touch not this cat and by sea and land, or I'm always hungry and I'm always tired.
That's an easy one. It's definitely the freckles.
Oh, well done, most getting it. And believe it or not, the touch not this cat is actually the motto for the McPherson clan.
Ah.
Okay. Oh, Tara holding on there. Mel's coming up. Randy and Lynn.
Oh, Mel, I think, is an RIT employee.
She is.
So what does the Scots word oxter mean? Is it head or face, underarm or armpit, backside or bottom, or head, shoulders, knees and toes? This is another test to see if you were listening to me.
Yeah.
Yay, well done. It was indeed your armpit.
Oh, Mel in the lead. Oh, I'm top 5.
Oh, yeah, you are. Well done. Question 5. What is Scotland's national animal? Is it the bear, the lion, haggis, or unicorn?
Oh, you're trying to trick us with that picture.
I know. We're just coming into haggis season as well. They're running about the fields. The unicorn. Oh, well done. Okay, let's click onto the scoreboard. Oh, well done, Jonathan.
Oh.
It's close for the guys underneath. Okay, number 6.
So some people are saying they can't see the question, but Laura is reading it out, and it shouldn't come up on your second.
Dundee is the UNESCO city of what? Is it red food, blue music, yellow design, or green comics? Design, that was another test that was mentioned earlier. Let's see who was listening. Oh, Mel definitely was listening. Little climb there from Doug. Okay, and last question. Ardbeg whiskey is which region, whiskey region, sorry, of Scotland? Is it red, the Lowlands, blue, the Highlands, yellow, Speyside, or green, Islay?
It's tougher than the last quiz.
Okay, this is it. Roll. Third place is Tara, well done. Second place, Jonathan. Oh, well done.
Oh!
First place. No!
Very good.
Well done.
And then we've got runners up, fourth and fifth, Quarren Queen and Doug.
So fourth and fifth will also get prizes as well. I'm not going to give myself a prize.
Well.
And we'll also pick some winners from
cheeky.
Facebook. And we'll pick a random winner or two as well. I know some people had issues seeing the questions, but always a bit of fun to finish with a quiz and get a bit more info. So, do you have more slides to share, Laura? Or
Just a couple more. So
yeah,
I think I just need to pick a different screen, don't I?
yeah. I just got to share screen at the bottom, and you can change the tab to the other one.
Go back then, yeah.
And if anyone has any other questions, feel free to type them in. I know Keith and Orla have been answering lots of them as they go. Some people asked about how long they should go to Scotland. So 1 week is great if you're doing, a coach tour and you're not going much further north than Inverness. It's great, but if you're looking to go further north or really explore the islands, I'd recommend at least 9 nights, I would say. So in a 10-day tour, Scotland is small. You can see quite a lot and do two night stays in a few different places, but 2 weeks would be ideal if you have 2 weeks. But yeah, about 10 days you can see most of the country, I would say. Were there any other questions, Orla?
No, not right now anyways. That's all covered.
We can see that now, Laura. All good.
Hopefully you can see that absence makes the heart grow fonder. Is that back up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, so yeah, we wanted to finish up today with a heartfelt message to all our partners. Obviously, in these challenging times, we can only dream about when we'll be able to travel again. But now, all we can do is send a big virtual hug to our fans of Scotland around the world. While we're staying at home, we can all still think about visiting Scotland soon. Indeed, absence makes the heart grow fonder. So this was a film made at home by the Visit Scotland team. And I'm going to cross everything that this works. Oh.
Flash back to the other screen. I'd say just start the, oh yeah, there we go.
What, do we have sound yet?
No sound, but it still looks nice.
Oh, I'll play for a little bit then. The link is in the slides so you can go and have a look. But this was a video, like we say, that was made at home by our in-house team, our multimedia team, which is fantastic for everyone clubbing together and doing everything remotely, and just expresses.
And we will share the link
for everybody to come and visit Scotland.
We'll share the link after so everyone can watch the full uninterrupted clip on YouTube.
Okay, I'll just go back to. I think we should be.
Lots of people are saying thank you for another great webinar. It's great to get a overview on Scotland. And Scotland is, Ireland, of course, is our most popular, where we have the most itineraries and stuff, but we're nearly getting as many visitors to Scotland now, and we hope that continues 2021 and beyond.
you so much. Yeah, lastly, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for listening. Yeah, if you've got any further questions, we'll be sending the slides round, and our contact details are on there as well, so anyone can get in touch. And thank you to Orla and Jonathan for having us on again.
No problem.
Yeah, pleasure is
More
always.
than welcome. We'll try to get you on again, but hopefully this quarantine doesn't continue for too much longer. And we look forward to sending many, many RIT clients and many of the agents on the line here's clients to Ireland. I say to Ireland, to Scotland next year. Not to Ireland, not to Ireland.
Oh, it was
Maybe
going so
both, maybe to both. I know.
Going so well.
I know.
Yeah, we can't wait to have everybody back to Scotland, but we also can't wait to get back to Canada as well, to take our little part of Scotland to Canada to showcase to you in your own country. But thanks again for having us virtually. We like joining you and RIT and your agents, so thanks for having us.
No problem. Thanks again, and thank you everyone for joining. And we'll pick a few winners tomorrow from Facebook, as well as those who are on the podium in the Zoom quiz, and we'll send you out your lovely prizes. So thanks again, and have a lovely week, everyone.